everyone, I'm Seema Grover and I'm here to talk to you about your role as a VP of production. So why is your role as a VP important? Your position is very important and critical to your JA company's success. You will be responsible for many tasks, including ordering and purchasing raw materials, establishing production and production goals, developing strategies for production, training your members to create the product or service, ensuring product quality, and tracking your progress throughout the year. This may seem like a lot of responsibilities and overwhelming at first, but if you train your employees as well as plan appropriately, you will be fine and you will get through the year. In addition to fulfilling these goals as a VP production, you will also have the responsibility to act as a leader of your company, and you'll be a major part of integral decisions to your business with the other VPs as well as the president. Your VP responsibilities are extremely important as well and important to your team. You will be responsible for contributing major sections to the business plan and the shareholders report. Some of the items that you will include in your business plan are your product, what you will be selling, the description of these products, as well as how you plan to train your employees to make the products, how you will be making the products, as well as your production goals, the cost of your products, and where you plan on purchasing your products. We'll discuss more of these items as we go further in this presentation. Additionally, at the end of the year, you will also have to contribute your section to the shareholders report. This would be summarizing how you've done according to your plan, what kind of hiccups you've maybe encountered, and how you overcame them, and the results, summarizing the results of your production goals throughout the year. Developing a plan. Once your company has decided on what product or service to produce or provide, you need to decide on whether you will make or buy your product. So this make or buy decision is really focusing on if you have the right abilities and skills and tools to either make your product and to make sure that you have enough people to fulfill these needs, or if you need to buy the product because you don't have the right makeup of skills and tools. And if you need to buy the product, how will you add value to that product? Will you personalize it? Will you customize it? Will you package it differently? You need to ensure if you're buying a product, you do add those value-added items to your product rather than just outright buying from a store and selling that product. If you decide to make it, you can really add those personal touches and see how you can put things together. Typically, when you're making a product, it will be more, you need to spend a bit more time in your meetings to produce the product, whereas if you're buying and packaging, it might be less time. Your purchase plan. So your purchasing plan is important. So you need to decide how or where and how much it's going to cost to purchase your products. So you need to evaluate your purchasing options and what alternatives you have. So you can purchase from a store or you can purchase from online, but you need to be making sure that you're purchasing the products that are of the best quality and making sure you are getting the best price, it's most cost effective, and also meets your quality standards. When reviewing purchase alternatives, it's important to also remember you need to evaluate and remember if they have the availability of how many products you actually need. If you need a large quantity of products, one store may not be able to provide you with that certain amount. So you really need to make sure you're not only evaluating the cost and the best cost and quality, but you're also considering the availability of these products. You also need to consider if there are other vendors that you can purchase your products from. If you are planning on purchasing products throughout the year and you realize that you can no longer buy from a certain vendor, is there another vendor that sells the product that you need? So you need to also consider if there are some issues that arise with one of the purchase vendors that you've chosen, if you have other options. Otherwise, you might be stuck. So you really need to evaluate all those different alternatives and options to really come up with the best purchasing strategy. When you receive the products you've purchased, it's also really important to look over all the products to make sure that they are of the best quality and of the quality you've ordered, as well as they include the right amount that you've purchased. So you want to make sure that all your purchases are complete and appropriate. If you are ordering online and you decide to order from a vendor outside of Canada, you really need to discuss this with the JA office. You are not allowed to purchase products from outside of Canada without JA approval. The reason for this is because there's been delays in the past with deliveries from overseas, with products being stuck at customs and not reaching not reaching your team, as well as there's also a major risk of the quality as well. So we would recommend that you order from a legitimate Canadian company so that you don't have these delivery issues. So make sure that you look at reviews of the vendors that you're ordering from, if you can find them, to make sure that it is of the best quality. Or if you're ordering a certain material, look at the reviews of the products from customers to see if they agree that the product is good. General purchasing tips. Before purchasing large quantities, make sure you estimate the cost and are able to finance these costs with what money you have available to fund these purchases. So it's really important that you discuss with your VP Finance before making any purchases to see if you have the money to pay back the people who are purchasing these products. Shop around and compare prices. Inquire for discounts for students. As a student, you may be eligible to receive discounts that adults may not be able to. So really see if you can discuss with a manager and tell them that what you're doing is for a JA company and if you can receive a discount for this. As well, be wary of ordering products online. There have been issues and delays from delivery and product quality. So really make sure, like I said before, to look at reviews and make sure that you are getting the best quality product. Production. There are a few common production strategies that we're going to discuss. The first one is production line strategy. So this is a strategy where you have each member doing a specific step in the production process. So one person will complete their step and then pass the product off to the next person to complete the next step, and so on and so forth. So when you're doing this strategy, the risk is that if only one person is trained in one step and they are not at the meeting, how will you produce the products? So you really want to make sure to avoid this by having everyone kind of trained in all steps in case someone does need to step in. The other production option is producing a product from start to finish. The risk with this is that if someone isn't really good at one of the steps in the production process, your quality may be hindered by this. So you really want to make sure, if you are getting everyone to produce a product from start to finish, that the quality for everyone making all the products are the best quality. So making sure that everyone follows certain steps appropriately and, reviewing those as you go forward. Another strategy is the job enrichment strategy. So this is when you're training your members from the process from start to finish, but they will rotate roles doing different parts of the production process, if they're getting bored. By doing this, you're kind of giving the opportunity for the members to kind of develop different skills in the process, as well as this also helps by kind of keeping your team members engaged, not getting bored doing the same step or producing from start to finish. So this is a combination a bit of both strategies. When choosing your production strategy, you should consider what your members would like to do. There might be a step that they're really interested in, and if you can give them that step to do, it might get them more engaged throughout the year. But you also have to consider what is the best way to produce your product. So try to find a balance between these two of what your members want to do and what's the best way of producing your product. Training. So once you've chosen the product that you have decided to make and chosen your production strategy, you need to train your employees or train your members to do the work to make the product. So you should consider, like I said, asking team members what they're interested in working on and try to find ways to keep them engaged. It's really important to train everyone, including VPs and presidents, on the production process, as everyone can lend a hand to produce. It's really important that you train your members appropriately and that they can develop the skills to produce the products and improve over time. It is also a good recommendation to create a production plan. So you have a detailed production plan available at each of your meetings in case someone does forget a step in the process. So really have that ready for everyone in case you need it. Quality. Why is quality important? Well, if your product does not meet general quality standards, you will likely lose customers, so losing profits from this. And you'll also have not a great reputation. We want to make sure we maintain the JA company reputation. So it is important to consider quality. So what does quality mean? What kind of ideals do you think define quality? So things that when you consider quality are durability, safety, appearance, performance, and timely delivery. Those are some examples of what can define quality. Just think about your favorite products that you purchase. So if you have an Apple iPad or some shoes that you really like, what do you think gives them the quality that you want to purchase it? So really consider those factors when you're designing your product. In order to maintain quality throughout the year, there's a few things that you can do to ensure that. So you can have a quality assurance manager, so someone that kind of reviews the quality throughout the production process and kind of takes on that role. So that also gives your member a really feeling of involvement and engagement in your company. Also, training, like we discussed, training is very important. So make sure you spend the appropriate time to train your employees so they understand how to make sure that your products retain quality. Have quality standards. So have a list of quality checks you want to do when you're producing the products to make sure it is of the best quality. So either throughout the production process or just making sure that you check the product at the end of the production process. So having those quality checks to make sure each product meets the quality standards. And evaluate materials for non-performance. You could purchase a large quantity of products and for some reason the quality of the products you're making are not meeting your standards. This could mean that the materials you purchase aren't of the best quality. So evaluate that and see if you need to return products and purchase a different type of products to improve your quality. Safety. Safety is very important to the JA company, and there are some things you should consider to make sure that your company is as safe as possible. So establish a safety program. Train your team to use and make products safely. If you are using tools in the production process, it is really important you're very careful and no one gets hurt. So really making sure that you use those tools appropriately and they're stored properly and kept in a safe place. As well as accident prevention training. So making sure that if you are using tools, what are the easiest way to have an accident and how can you avoid having an accident. If there is an accident, you also want to investigate why it happened or how it happened, as well as making sure that how to avoid that type of accident in the future. You can also elect a safety officer, so someone who's concerned and make sure that there is no safety issues and make sure that all the products and tools are stored appropriately so there aren't any problems. As well as oversight from yourself as well as your VPs. Just making sure everyone is safe and isn't getting hurt. Production mitigation pitfalls. So there are some ways to mitigate some of the production pitfalls that you might encounter. So if you are using a difficult finish, that means that you're using a finish on your products that may take long to dry or is very difficult to store or smells bad or things like that. You really need to consider you have 3 hours each week to make that product. So how can you properly store these products and make sure that they don't get damaged, as well as is there a way of avoiding having these finishes if there's an alternative to that. Lack of organization. So you're not prepared, you're not on time. You have to use your 3 hours weekly very, very effectively. If you don't have everything planned and production's ready, you're not going to produce the products that you need to be able to sell. So you really need to make sure everything is organized, you have the materials, and you have everything ready to go. In addition, you need poor inventory management. So you realize when you come to Jay that you're missing a certain part of your product, and now you can't produce anything. So it's really important to manage all your inventory pieces or raw materials to make sure that you have everything ready in order to make the product. So making sure if you need to order something, you order it appropriately or on time in order to get it for your meeting. So it's important to be aware of these pitfalls in order to make sure you don't fall into them. Record-keeping responsibilities. There's a difference between planning and weekly record keeping. Planning is kind of what we discussed, how you're going to make your product, where you're going to buy your product, how you're going to train your employees, etc. When we're talking about weekly record keeping, these are your actual production actuals and what you're producing during the meetings. So it's tracking how many products you plan on making, how many products you've made during the day, how many or what materials you need to purchase for when, who will be purchasing them. So it's really tracking your whole process throughout the year. So it's really important to have a purchase tracker so you can track all your purchases, make sure you have all the appropriate receipts, and everyone knows when or who is purchasing the products for the meeting. As well as unit production and sales charts. So you want to track how many units you're producing and if you're meeting your goals, as well as if you have enough products to actually sell. So you want to track how many products are produced and how much you've sold to see how much you have left, and making sure that those all balance. So thank you for listening. I hope this will help you throughout your company year, and good luck.